Hey everyone, this is Elias from Rap Match Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Chevy Trax, and this one is in the active trim. Now, let's just say when you hear the price, it's going to stop you in your tracks. Yeah, bad dad joke, but great ride. Let's get started. We get started in the front and we can see this guy looks really mean. I love the design that Chevy has been bringing, some kind of Camaroesque design to some of their lineups, and just the aggressiveness is really what I love about it, and it shows on the Trax. So let's get started on different elements. We have the faux headlights, because these are not the headlights. They look like the headlights, but in reality, as you can see shining, these are the headlights. But yeah, we have this nice look up here and this nice light design down here. I really love it. It's fun. It's fun design because, again, you think these are the eyes, but these are really the eyes of the Trax. And we do have this front grille. Now, with this being the active trim, the this little area here is slightly different than some of the other models or the other trims in the Trax lineup. But one of my favorite things is this down here. We have that black chrome on there, and it reminds me of the Vader chrome. I want to say it's the GMC Denali Ultimate that had it. It just looks so nice in this. But yeah, I do love this front end. Now, we don't have a front-facing camera. So with this being the Trax, we are not going to have all the things, but the fact that this is, I'll give you guys the price. This is under $27,000. This is insane. And this is virtually fully loaded at $27,000 is almost unheard of in today's market. So yeah, some stuff you're not gonna be there, but trust me, when you're paying that monthly payment, you're not gonna miss those extra payments that you'd have to do if we had all the bells and whistles. Go for the bigger models, go for the next models up in the Chevy lineup. But yeah, we don't have the front-facing camera. We do have a rear camera, the HD rear view there. But yeah, overall though, I love this. Oh, and the color, the Cayenne Orange. Yes, this thing looks really nice. Would this be my first choice? No, because believe it or not, this isn't the most exciting color. It's great, I love it. It looks amazing. But they have this kind of like cement looking, like greenish cement color, and that just looks unbelievable in this. That would be my first choice, and this would definitely be my second choice as far as color. But overall though, I do love the front end. It looks great. I love the way that Chevy has been designing their front ends. But really cool is what's under here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. We get under the hood and we have the Ecotec 1.2 liter turbocharged inline 3-cylinder engine. It is cranking out 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 6-speed auto and then to the front wheels. Now, this little guy is pretty impressive. It may be small, but it definitely packs a punch. The power delivery is smooth. Only sometimes when you kind of give it a little bit too much, it's like, okay, cool, we want to go. So it's like a little bulldog where it's like, okay, let's go. And that turbo, you definitely feel the kick of the turbo. So just, it's all in your throttle modulation. So just be aware of that. But other than that though, the power delivery is smooth. The transmission is great as well. Shifts are fairly quick from one to the other. The only thing is downshifting. So if you're downshifting, just be aware it's gonna take a little bit longer than I would like, but it's still good because once it gets down to the right gear, it really just goes, especially with getting that turbo spooled. But oh yeah, and front wheel drive, yeah, would I like an all-wheel drive option? Yeah, but that's why you get the Trailblazer. Other than that though, it's really impressive, super quiet, power delivery is there. It's just, I'm super impressed with this, and it's really tiny in this big engine bay. So who's gonna be the first one to LS swap one of these? Because I'd say it looks like you got the space for it. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have in those wheels and tires. we get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice gloss black 18-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the Goodyear 225/55 tire. Now, a couple of things with this. First, the color, yes, I approve. Black wheel looks really nice. The design looks really good as well. Love it. The tires have been great. They've been super quiet. They've been, you know, absorbing of the road, and they provided great feedback and grip as well. So yeah, this setup has been really good. My favorite thing though, those brakes. Those brakes are incredible. The pedal feel to it, the performance themselves, I feel like I can slam on the brakes and I won't have any trouble getting this guy stopped. It's just a very, very impressive package. Definitely one of my favorites that I've driven in a while, especially, and to have this kind of performance in this type of vehicle, which you don't usually expect, it's a nice surprise. But also the suspension has been great, absorbing the road, super smooth, quiet, just a quiet setup to keep the outside out and the inside in. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see this is a fairly good size CUV. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the size. So let's get started on a couple of things. So we can see the front part of it. We see that faux headlight, like I like to call, just kind of wrapping around there. We have the nice 18-inch wheels, obviously look great in black. We have this kind of over fender cover in plastic, which is good, protects the paint a little bit there. And we have the black mirrors, which I'm always a big fan of. We have black framing all around. I mean, you guys are, Chevy, you guys are hitting all my checklist of things that I love. And we have the design line. There's this kind of line that goes from here that just kind of keeps your eye just kind of moving and kind of circulating. It's just really nice. Again, we have some more black trim here to help if you decide to take this a little bit on some unpaved roads. It doesn't have an off-road mode. It is, again, front wheel drive. So as long, you know, just protect you from maybe some unpaved roads like we have here. But overall though, the design is really nice. The taillights we'll definitely get into there, but I love the side profile of this. We also have some roof rail connections up here, which are nice in case you want to take this out or need more space for toys up there. But I'm really impressed. Now I have the key fob in my hand and I'm gonna go ahead in my pocket and I'm gonna go ahead and try to open this. And it's not gonna open. There is no sensor, but there is a little button. It's chrome. It sticks out. It really sticks out. So just a matter of pressing that and you're good to go. Open that up, close it, and you can press it to lock it. Now, yeah, there's no sensor and there's no button in the back. So you do have to press this and there you go. Yeah, you have to press it twice and you'll get the back open. But you close that, you push the button, and you're good to go. I know I always complain I want sensors in the back and all this stuff, but remember, under 27,000. That's the big thing with this. You're not gonna get everything, but you're still getting so much with this. But yeah, that is the side profile of the Trax. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in the back. We get to the back and the rear of the Trax is actually really nice. There's some nice elements to it. My favorite are definitely what I like to call the bug eye taillights because they're kind of separated and they definitely look like bug eyes. But I do love the swooping design that it has. It's actually really far, kind of almost more towards the side profile than we do the rear of, or majority of it is more towards the side profile than the rear profile of the Trax. But yeah, really nice design to that taillight. And we have the rear glass. It's really nice. I mean, there's, as far as visibility, no issues there. Yeah, would I have liked the rear view camera? As far as rear view mirror camera, yes, but again, remember, under 27,000. But we do have the rear wiper to make sure this stays clean. We have a nice little spoiler, which is a nice design element to it there. The Chevy bow tie with a cool texture, and we have this black chrome accent down here. But overall though, very simple, very straight to the point design back here. Now we do have a remote, but it doesn't have for a tailgate opening, so you do have to push the little button. And you get it up, and we have a ton of space back here. This was the biggest thing. Yeah, we still have some of our shop from our wholesale shop right there, and yeah, you could see that you could easily fit probably 3 of those in here, and that's a lot of paper towels. But overall, those nice amount of space back here. When we did our actual groceries, this thing was packed, and it was a lot of stuff that we had. But I'm super surprised. And the other impressive thing is we do have a spare tire. Yes, at $27,000. Did I mention this was under $27,000? We actually have a spare tire. Granted, it's still a donut, but the fact that we don't have a stupid little kit that is just a nightmare to deal with, you have a spare tire is a nice option at this price point. So yeah, overall, really impressed with this. Now, again, we don't have powered tailgate, so we do have to use our own power. But what is really impressive at $27,000, under $27,000, did I mention this was under $27,000? But it is this has remote start. Yes. This has remote start. I don't have to pay for anything. It's already there. Why can't all these other brands just charge me $1,000 for all I care? Give me remote start, especially on a day like this when it's only about 9 o'clock and we're already at about 80 degrees, going almost to 90. Yes, we need to cool this guy down. We need to warm it up in the winter for kids, family, you know, just the comfort. Really a nice feature to have in every vehicle, really. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop in and go for a ride. We get inside of the Trax, and this is actually really, really impressive. Again, under $27,000, guys. This is insane. And starting at that even lower price, I think it's like $21,000. It's just insane what you get. So a couple of things. Let's get started on the door. The door is nice. There's a couple of elements. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit on the cheaper side of plastic, but that's fine. It's still, it has more of a rugged feel than it does, which is sometimes you get, again, that hard plastic, than more of a cheap feel. Because I've had premium feeling or premium materials feel cheap, but no, this is good. This is, again, durable. You know that it's going to take a beating, and you're not going to have any issues with longevity with it. But yeah, we have that at the top. Then at the bottom, the armrest is really nice and comfortable. We do have a softer material to it down here, and we have that kind of, it looks like leather. It's fake, I know, but it looks nice, and it's got that like really, like, I don't know, like lime, like bright yellow lime color, which looks nice, which I hope they use it somewhere else, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it looks really good. Everything is within reach. You have a nice little cubby here, and we have some space down here for your drink. Overall, though, this is really impressive as far as ergonomics and placing everything where it needs to be. Now we get to the seats, and the seats are nice and comfortable. Again, with this being the Active, we do have the little badge on, or the Active word right on the headrest there. It is nicely stitched there. We do have their synthetic leather, which feels good. Actually, it feels really, really nice and comfortable. They are a heated option, which is impressive at this price point. You know, typically you have to pay a little bit more to be in a price point for a vehicle that has heated seats, but yeah, this does it really well. Not that we really need it, because it's been super hot, you know, this week. Would I have liked vented options? Yes, but again, that's when we start talking about going to a different model, just higher price point. This is what this is what I'll say. But yeah, this is super impressive, super comfortable. It is powered, so it is a powered seat on the driver's side. On the passenger side, it is not. So we don't have all the adjustability that we have on the driver's side with the electric options, with the power options. But yeah, this was super comfortable. I had no complaints over, you know, a longer drive that we did. Very, very comfortable, no issues there. Then we get over to the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is nice. This is actually really, really good. We have the wrapped steering wheel. It doesn't say that it's leather, but it feels leather, and it feels really, really good. This was very impressive as far as the feel to it. And the shape to it is really nice as well. Where I would have liked a little bit more kind of life to it is getting that same active kind of piping that we have, that color and the stitching in the stitching here of the wheel as well. So that would have been a nice touch to this. But overall, I mean, the feel to it is really good. The ergonomics, the buttons are placed nicely, and we have some buttons in the back. We have the volume down, volume up, which is good. That way it frees up for bigger, easier buttons to get to in the front. So that was definitely one of my favorite things, that we have those buttons in the back. Then we get to the gauge cluster, and the gauge cluster is a nice digital screen. It's really clear, it's really bright, and tells you what you need. It's not super wow, it doesn't have a lot of things. The only thing I did like is that as far as changing the gauge faces, so it's a little tricky. You have to hold down that little scroll wheel on the right, you push it down, and then it gives you the gauge faces. I think gauge 3 is what I really liked, because it was kind of unique. It's kind of this half circle that is kind of just filling up in a counterclockwise motion. But yeah, it's really cool. Kiddo said, oh wow, that's really nice. I like the way that's designed. So definitely a nice look to it. We'll just keep it on that. It doesn't have, so I wish it had other gauges or switches for the middle, and just kind of keep the speedometer for things like, you know, temperature gauge. We also have things like, you know, tire pressures, you know, those essentials that we get nowadays. You have to do it here. We have to do it on the infotainment system. I would have liked to have it even as a small option on the gauge cluster itself. But yeah, it is what it is. Going over to the infotainment system, we have a nice big clear screen. Yeah, this was really impressive. My favorite part, it has Apple CarPlay. My even more favorite part, it's wireless Apple CarPlay. Yes. Did I say this is under 27,000? Because under 27,000 with wireless Apple CarPlay, yeah, that's Kia. You guys have to step up your game. You guys have cars twice as expensive as this, and you don't offer wireless Apple CarPlay. Thank you, Chevy. Thank you, Chevy, for making this an option on the Trax, that we keep things clean. No wires, no cables, nothing. We want to keep things clean. So yeah, we have that wireless Apple CarPlay. The screen is nice and beautiful. No complaints there. The touch response has been really good. The volume knob is kind of the only thing that's a little weird. We kind of have it over here. Almost didn't see it because the wheel kind of gets in your way, or if I'm holding the steering wheel up here. So that was kind of, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't. I see why it has to be up there to make sense, but yeah, usually I've just been adjusting the volume with the back buttons here. But yeah, really nice display. Love the way that it looks. Love the way that it works. We come down a little bit more, and we have the AC controls. Very simple, but one thing I didn't like is you can't put auto and have the air recirculating. So it does have to. So it does it automatically, and if you turn on, if you don't want fresh air, especially like when you're in the city and you have a bunch of cars, when you press that, it's gonna automatically turn off the auto, which was, I wish it didn't, but it does. We come a little bit lower, and we have your USB-C and USB-A connections on there, with a 12-volt adapter on the side there as well. And a little bit lower than that, we do have the wireless charger. So we have the wireless charger down there. It is really nice. It's literally just chuck my phone in there and it starts to charge, and it actually is charging. It's not just kind of holding the charge like some wireless chargers do. So I was pretty low, and within about 30-45 minute drive, it was surprisingly charged up significantly more than other wireless chargers. So good on you, Chevy. So we come back a little bit more, and we have your auto start stop options, and we have the lane assist or lane keep assist system. I had to turn that off because in my roads there's some parts where you know, you kind of have to be on the edge of the line to make sure that you don't hit the other part of the road of your lane that is really bumpy and has potholes and things like that. So it was a little bit on the aggressive side, so I did have to turn that off because it kept trying to, you know, if I got just even too close to it, it kept really pushing me over. So it got a little annoying and I had to turn it off. But other than that though, it's been great. We come back a little bit more and we have the cup holders. Cup holders have been great, you know, nice and, you know, deep size, big size. Yeah, water, it's gonna, just be careful, it's gonna move this around because it's made for bigger cups, and there's no like grasping for smaller cups. We have an area here, which is good for your phone as well. I was able to kind of fit my phone vertically in there, and then we have, again, obviously the other cup holder. To the left, we have the shifter. Nothing really amazing about it. It's very simple, very straight to the point. Yeah, we don't have any sport mode. We don't have any manual shifting option there either. We come a little bit back and we have a little cubby, which is really nice. You know, just kind of those things you want to have if you want to place something in there and have quick reach of them, but also want to, you know, you need the space for something slightly bigger than, I'd say actually the tissue box fit in here really well. So that was pretty impressive to have this little cubby there. Now, we get to the armrest, and the armrest is comfortable. I mean, I've been able to really position myself to hold the wheel with the armrest. No issues there. When you open it up, there's not much space in here. The tissue box did not fit in there, which is why I was using it up here to have it, you know, readily available, as well as being able to have it in the car. So yeah, don't expect too much of it from the armrest. Then we get to the back, and the back is really impressive. There's a ton of space back there. That was the big thing that surprised me about this. So there's tons of legroom, there's tons of headroom. It's just a really good space. My kiddo loved it. Only thing he didn't like, and it was kind of becoming frustrating, was to put his seatbelt on. His booster seat kind of goes over the seatbelt connector. And yeah, it was a little frustrating because the connector or the, I don't know what you call it, but where the seatbelt buckles into, the buckle, I guess, it was kind of going into the seat because it kind of makes it flush, and it was becoming a problem. And it was a little bit frustrating to have him do that, and even for me, for having to kind of position it, because it really sinks into the seat. So yeah, if you have kiddos, just be aware it's going to be a little tough for them to buckle in back there. But yeah, other than that though, he really liked the space and had no complaints back there as well. We get to the trunk area, and the trunk area was the other part that was really impressive. There's tons of space back there. We went on a big grocery shop, wholesale grocery shop, and we had all the space. We threw everything in there, and yeah, it was pretty impressive. Our cart was full, and so was this little Trax after we were done. So yeah, really loved that part of the Trax. Now let's talk performance. We're dealing with the 1.2 liter inline 3 turbocharged engine. It is cranking out 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 6-speed auto and then to the front wheels. Now, this has been pretty impressive. This little engine, a 3-cylinder, this is the smallest engine that I've driven, and it's pretty damn impressive. I was surprised at how much pep this little guy had. So we'll go from a stop and go. yeah, we got some torque steer. So yeah, this is actually pretty impressive. Highway passing, no issues from a stop. It's been great. I'm so surprised that those horsepower and torque numbers, they have to be wrong in the most positive way, because this feels a lot more, and it is just peppy all the time. So that turbo gets spooled up really quickly and just goes. It really is pretty impressive. Oh, my favorite thing, the brakes. The brakes on this are incredible. Yeah, that brake pedal feels perfect. And yeah, away we go. So it's just really fun. It's just felt so smooth in power delivery. Only thing though is when you're kind of stop and go, if you kind of push it the pedal a little bit too much, you kind of kick into boost, and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. There isn't any drive modes, so it's just plain and simple. Your right foot is your drive mode. If you want to back off, if you want eco mode, back off of it. If you want sport mode, just go ahead and hammer it. Yeah, the transmission shifts aren't like super fast downshifts, really. The downshifts aren't the fastest, but once you tell it that you want to go, and it goes to the right gear, yeah. Yeah, there you go. You see, it's a small delay. It will, shift from one to the other. I'm glad there's no CVT in this, because I think it would have robbed a lot more of the power from the start, like your typical CVT does. But yeah, this was super impressive with how the power delivery was. The drive is so smooth. The suspension is so dialed in. It's just amazing how comfortable this thing is. And yeah, even those big bumps and those tiny bumps, it just absorbing everything. The feedback that the wheel gave me, it's just this is an entry level SUV or CUV. This shouldn't perform the way that it should. Typically, you say boring, CUVs is just, kind of stale. Not this. This is actually pretty good. Would I want more? Yeah, I mean, but that's where the Trailblazer comes in. If you're needing all-wheel drive, if you're needing a little bit more power, so you go up to the 1.3, a little bit more bump in power, both horsepower and torque. But as a grocery getter, as a college student vehicle, as a downsizing, retiring, I forget, my neighbor, his kids are empty nesters. This is perfect, because if you just need to zip around town, yeah, this is, drop the gears. But once you get there, the turbo kicks in, and it's really, really good. Oh, yeah, it's just, and those brakes, the feedback you get, it's just an unbelievable experience. And the turn-in for this is just really, really good. The grip, surprisingly, for a vehicle like this is really good. Yeah, I'm not going to be taking this out on the track or anything like that, but it is pretty impressive at what it's doing to get this guy going and to, point it in the right direction that you want it to. Yeah, traction control there. That little bump's always tricky for traction control systems, but yeah, no issues there, no complaints. But yeah, this guy is really, really impressive. This has been a fun little ride. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the 2024 Chevy Trax. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.